Hello and welcome to the Guitar Collection. This is my first time sharing a Miguel Rodriguez guitar on this channel, and this one is from the year 1987 with a spruce top. But these are guitars I am extremely familiar with because I actually own one myself from the year 1980 with a cedar top. So as you can imagine, these are instruments that I'm extremely fond of. One of my favorite Spanish makers. And this guitar is no exception to that rule. In fact, it's very difficult to decide between the two of these, which one I prefer. Of course, many famous players over time have played Miguel Rodriguez guitars, maybe most famously the entire Romero family, including Pepe Romero, who has his favorite guitar since 1973 named La Wonderful, which has been possibly the most recorded and performed on guitar in the world. But it's very easy to see why they play these instruments. Now, let's talk about the specs a little bit, and I think some of them will be quite alarming to you if you are unfamiliar with his instruments. First off, this is a spruce top. It's really, really beautiful. I mean, it's got some great age to it here. It's not so white. It's now almost 40 years old. You can see this Miguel Rodriguez rosette that you'll see on all of his instruments, just an amazing floral pattern here, and you'll see the same thing on the tie block. Really, really nice. Now, very interestingly about the design of the soundboard of this guitar, it is a fan brace design, but you'll notice one thing that is very peculiar, which is a brace that goes right here that actually supports the center fan bracing, and then it glues on to the sides of the guitar over here, which I've noticed on several of his instruments, as well as on the cedar that I have from 1980 that used to belong to Miguel Romero. Now, let's cover a little bit more of the specs. On the back and sides, you'll see an incredible set of Brazilian rosewood. It's a fairly light color, but is very old growth wood. Really, really nice. And then, talking about the neck, actually, a neck that I find very comfortable. Now I say actually because this is a 667 scale length guitar, 667 millimeters. So it is 17 millimeters longer than the standard scale length, but somehow it is so easy to play. And these guitars are really defying all odds to me because by all other accounts, like very long scale Romeros guitars, I do not feel comfortable to play. For my own preference, this feels incredibly easy to play. It has very tall frets, which also I prefer, a very nice low action, and like I always say, the sound really influences the playability of this guitar. You really trust it everywhere you move your hand. It's very even and really beautiful long sustain, but we'll get more into the sound in a moment. Moving on to the headstock, really classy design here. I mean, I love how all of these little corners are rounded. There's a lot of little extra details here on the head. You'll notice the original tuners here. Gosh, what else is there to say about this guitar as far as the specs? I'm not sure, but I have to get into the sound of this guitar because this is really impressive to me. And the first time I played one of these guitars, actually this was now 6-7 months ago, not that long ago. To be honest, I was dreading making a video on the guitar because I was like, oh, it's longer scale length. It's an older guitar. Maybe I'm going to have some issues playing it or getting a nice recording on it. And then I took it out of the box. I played one note and I was like, oh my goodness, I might have to buy this guitar. And actually, that's what I did. So you can imagine my delight when I got this guitar into my hands, this spruce top model of his from only 7 years apart from the one that I own here. Something I have to say right away is the volume of these guitars is incredible. It is among the loudest traditional guitars I've played, maybe the loudest, and it competes with any modern guitar, depending on your style of play. But it is monstrous sound. And those of you that may not have had a chance to play one of these guitars, maybe you play a very modern double top or lattice brace guitar, you will be shocked when you play this. You're going to expect it to be sounding like an older Spanish guitar. It is extremely loud, and for that reason, it's so impressive and so applicable as a concert instrument. And gosh, it has a little bit more of that traditional spruce sound. It's got this this brightness that is so refreshing to it. Really has the Spanish flavor. And man, do these guitars shine when you push them. I mean, that's what's so much fun about this guitar. If you play with a very weak attack or very shallow with your nails, then you might get a very plucky sound out of this instrument. You know, you can get some nasty sounds out of it. But if you push, or if you use a lot of rest stroke, and you know, of course, harkening back to the Romeros and thinking about how much rest stroke they use, like Angel, Pepe, Celedonio. It just responds so well to the movement of the string downwards into the sound hole. Do you hear that? Same with the basses. They really activate when you push in. Boom. It's simultaneously bright, cutting through, but having a lot of depth. And it's so malleable compared to where you, depending on where you play. I mean, it is so clear to me why the whole Romero family played on these. And of course, Pepe still has his La Wonderful, his favorite guitar since 1973, I believe. And, you know, they move the strings, they push these guitars, and yet they're extremely playable at this scale length. And it has such a palette of colors. I find the basses so intoxicating on this guitar. They're so open, so clear. They have their own story to tell, right? And on many Spanish guitars of this era, you'll notice those basses being just so wonderful. But then when you come to the trebles, they're a little bit lackluster, or maybe there's something you have to do to make them sing that is like maybe a little bit unnatural. But on this guitar, on these guitars, I have to say, all the ones that I've encountered so far, which is 2 of them. I'm still young in this, y'all. But these trebles leave nothing to be desired. I mean, you know, on top of this extremely loud bass, this first string just pops right out of the mix. It's such a singer. And it sounds great whether you're here in second position or all the way up here in ninth position. So even. Let's hear Prelude 11 by Tárrega. You're just met with power everywhere on this guitar. I mean, when you play the basses, a amazing. And then you step up to the trebles. It's like you're met with power and excitement everywhere. It just makes it such a fun guitar to play. You can get so many steps in the dynamic range. I mean, it loves to be played quietly. You can play. You know, you could play with such fragility in your sound and then do something like this. Then come back down. You know, you could play with such sensitivity and bring out so many amazing characteristics. You know, there is something to say about this 667 scale length. If you have, for instance, super long fingers, you're 7 feet tall, maybe 667 is always better for you. But if you're someone like me that has fairly large hands and longer fingers, but typically still prefer 650 scale guitars, you would notice some pros to switching to a longer scale length or playing a longer scale length guitar. And that's in these little tricky passages up high on the guitar. You feel like you have a little bit more space just to operate, you know, like this. It's actually very hard to accomplish that passage for me, but on this guitar, it feels easier. Now, if I'm being truthful, of course, there are some things that are not as easy with this scale length, you know? You play an extremely difficult piece that's very long with huge stretches. Maybe it's a Bach transcription or Scarlatti. It's not always perfect, but I can work my way around it. If you have short fingers or small hands or whatever, there's no question about it. This is not the right guitar for you. It would be a terrible choice met with a lot of pain. So be careful when you choose guitars like this, but I did want to acknowledge my kind of change in ideas here, that sometimes 667 scale or something that's longer scale length does actually feel a little bit better for me in certain passages. Okay, with all that being said, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're interested in this guitar, check it out at guitarcollection.com. It's linked in the description of this video. You'll see a full album of photos, description for the guitar, and you'll also see a place at the top and several other places of the website where you can write your email address in and subscribe to be notified about instruments before they become available. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.